Now we will start the Lives Technology program. Lives Technology has the vision to overcome disability with technologies. And in July, we held an Ideathon. The theme was to future workplace transformed by technology. So today we have 3 teams which were awarded the Excellent Award, and we will hear their wonderful ideas. After the 3 teams' presentation, we will have Nakamura Takeshi of the Raise the Flag, and he will give us some hints to solve the issues with technologies. So we will have the first team that received the winning award. It's Scouters. So Nishimachi-san will be presenting. You ready? Please, Nishimachi-san. I am Nishimachi from Scouters. So thank you to all of you for making this possible. I will start my presentation. So what is the issue? We started from definition of problems. So it's the people who have difficulty in communication. So developmental disabilities or the mental disabilities, they don't really understand what others are feeling and difficult to communicate. And the others are the people with physical disabilities or the mental disabilities who do not understand their own stress or their conditions. So how do we solve this issue? How can we solve this issue? So we try to numerize the stress value or their conditions to visualize such values. Then I thought it would be helpful, and also to communicate in the methodologies that they would like to use. So they try to communicate with their hands. So can we use technology to communicate their feelings? And also, the necessary information should be gathered, and how do we communicate it? Like maybe hit point or motivation point. And how do we solve this issue? I would like to explain that. First of all, how can we use, or what is the method of communication? One thing is VR, virtual reality. That could be helpful in communication. And for people on wheelchairs, they can use computers using their mouth or line of sight. And for people with visual disabilities, impairment, they can have sensors, or they can use their brain waves. And when you try to communicate your sensitivity or your emotions, that would also be helpful. And one thing that's important is to visualize your condition. We have smartphones or tablets, so you can use those devices, and we can gather information using those devices. And smartphones or PCs, we can measure the processing speed to understand whether they are tired or not. If their input speed is slower, then we have to really take care that they do not become exhausted. Metaverse and avatars, these virtual space, could be used to help communication, because in reality it's difficult for them to communicate. So if you can communicate in the virtual space, maybe it's good. Like they can use the VR headset or they can use the embedded chips. These technologies have really advanced. So maybe it would be like in 5 years, not the 9 years that we had thought originally that we can do this. But right now it's difficult to choose the methodology. So I hope we'll be able to do that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ishimatsu. So that was the presentation by Scouters.
Next presentation is a second by second team. New Japan Bunka Teichaku group, and then they are sending the video. Hi everyone. So we are Shin Japanese Cultural Settlement Committee. So it's a bridge function between wanting to help and needing help. I'm Miki Hijikata, and John Haran will give a presentation titled The Kakehashi Function of Wanting to Help and Needing Help. We'll put our thoughts and feelings into these 5 minutes as best we can, so we hope you will listen to our presentation. The current issues we focused on are the state of difficulty in expressing a need for help when one wants it, and it is a state of wanting to help but being hesitant to do so. For example, if you are blind, you might get lost in a place for the first time. For example, if your arms do not move freely and you cannot change your clothes, going out may become difficult. For example, if you are lost in a work procedure and don't know who to ask, your hands will probably stop. Now, let's imagine the situation in reverse. There is a person in need in front of you, but you may be thinking, is he really in trouble? What should I do? Have you ever had that experience of being lost like that? If we can clearly see that they are in trouble and know what they want us to do, we can lend a hand without hesitation. What we are aiming for is a daily life where small mutual aid occurs more casually and naturally here and there. We propose a bridge function that connects people to each other by using data and digital technology to visualize your desire to help and your need for help. Now I would like to give one example to give you an idea of how to visualize these thoughts. For example, everyone, think of this instance of an airplane. Passengers are restricted in their freedom of movement. What do you do when you need something? Obvious. You call the flight attendants, don't you? You use a call button, which is a small light on the ceiling that glows with a ping sound, right? Now, let us replace a passenger with a person who wants to help in daily life. Let's also replace flight attendants with people who want to help. And let's say that a plane called airplane is Japan, but we want to create is a call button in Japan. This call button must be something that anyone can use without resistance and something that can be used without difficulty, no matter what kind of disability you have. Therefore, this call button will not only be a cell phone application, but will also flexibly incorporate various forms of machines and tools, as well as AI and brainwave analytics technologies, aiming to make it possible to quickly transmit a request for help with only a few simple operations in terms of both hardware and software. What do you mean by asking for help irresistibly and in style? I would like to give you some examples. Let me give you a few concrete examples. For example, let's say we develop a hologram projector that can be worn on the shoulder, or something that works with our call button software. With the press a button or quick series of 5 blinks. In the future, a hologram of a large angel or Pokemon could be projected from the shoulder, and people around them would see it and say, "Oh, that's a sign for help," and actually help them. At the same time, we can devise various ways to make it possible for the sender of a help-seeking sign to express specifically what he or she wants from this call button, and identify the recipient with a sign of narrowing down the gender and the age range. In short, we need to diverse ways to minimize resistance to the act of asking for help. This in the future, for 10 years or next to 20 years, with a new technology, we will use the power of new technology to make it possible for everyone to casually help each other. We all hope to establish this as a new Japanese culture. This is the Shin Japanese Culture Established Committee. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Japanese Culture Establishment Committee. And the next, the third group, this is going to be the last group.
The name of the team is Triple E. And again, their team's presentation has been pre-recorded. Good afternoon, everybody. We are the Triple E team. Triple E, or 3 sets of E, stands for Equitable Employment Ecosystem. Our goal is to provide a workplace environment that allows each and every employee to feel equally comfortable working. Today, the whole team would like to explain the solution we are aiming for. Many people with disabilities feel that they cannot discuss their concerns and challenges they face with the people around them. Even if they want to talk about themselves, they feel that there is a barrier that shuts down the communication with those around them, and so they refrain from doing so. They feel anxious as to how they will be perceived and fear that such communication may create some awkwardness in workplace dynamics. We identified a challenge in this context. Even if the people with disabilities spoke up, they fear they may be misinterpreted, and there is a lack of communication and understanding between people with disabilities and those around them. In order to create a future workplace where people with disabilities do not feel a communication barrier, it is necessary to create an environment where people with disabilities can feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings with their teammates in the workplace. By allowing many people with disabilities to communicate their thoughts and feelings, they will be able to send information to their teammates who are designing the workplace environment, and correct understanding of people with disabilities will become widespread. By continuing this information dissemination and collection, workplace issues will be highlighted from all perspectives, and an ecosystem that solves workplace issues and drives initiatives to create a more pleasant workplace will become feasible. The workplace truly needs such ecosystem. Establishing a workplace where everyone feels equally comfortable working empowers people with disabilities to contribute more to group activities and adds valuable perspectives to the company's day-to-day operations that are often overlooked by people without disabilities. Such an environment increases mutual interaction between people with and without disabilities and promotes empathy and understanding, not only in the workplace, but also among employees towards others. Join us to consider how the creativity and performance of the entire workforce can be enriched further by recognizing and removing barriers to accessibility and inclusion for each individual employee. Let us think together how we can change the world by recognizing that leaving someone behind is a risk for everyone in the workplace. In Japan, the expression reading the air is sometimes used when judging a situation, but the air cannot be read. This expression infers that many people with or without disabilities hide their anxiety about communication in ambiguity. Therefore, we propose a system to visualize the situation and issues regarding people with disabilities in the workplace, to promote correct understanding and awareness, and to facilitate problem solving. Specific features and solutions include the ability to collect information from employees in a variety of forms. An anonymous function is also provided so that users can post information in confidence. The information is then disseminated internally without subjectivity, and support is provided to facilitate problem solving. To name one prototype, we propose the introduction of an AI cabinet secretary as a communication expert who would act as a coordinator for the team, presenting issues and recommendations as a spokesperson. The AI chief cabinet secretary's bias-free communication will enable teams to communicate directly with each other to solve problems as the next step, and hybrid communication can take place in an office with an AI chief cabinet secretary. This is the future of how we work. These are the ideas of Triple E. Wouldn't it be great if a workplace in which everyone finds it pleasant to work can be realized in various ways and increases in number in the future? It does not have to use the system we propose today. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you, Triple E people. You just heard the presentations of the three outstanding teams. Thank you to the teams for the wonderful presentations.